Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be making a dish that needs no introduction, a biryani. It is popular all over India, all over the world in fact, and everyone has their own version. I actually make 2 or 3 different kinds, but today I'm going to be making a version that's easy to replicate at home without special equipment or long hours of dum. So this is how it goes. Let's get started. And what I'm going to do is, you can use ghee, oil, or a combination of both. I'm going to use some ghee and oil today. So drop my ghee, and need about half a cup of ghee or so and half a cup of oil. So don't be stingy on this. I mean, it's biryani, so it's an indulgence, so you have to do it right. So get some oil in there. I think that's good. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop some spices in there, and this is called Marathi Moggu. It gives a very good flavor in biryani. And then you have some star anise, and I have some shah jeera, which is cumin seeds, and I have also some elaichi or cardamom, and I have some cinnamon sticks. So I'm going to drop these in my ghee and oil mixture. Cinnamon I'm just going to break in 2 because they're rather large pieces. So let that simmer for just a minute. You want to make sure those don't burn. So that is almost good to go. Next thing I'm going to add here is green chilies. Now I have green chilies that have been de-seeded. If you like it spicier, leave the seeds in there. So drop those in there. You'll hear that nice sizzle. That's good. The next thing that goes in there is some onions. And we need quite a few onions over here. And today I'm going to be making mutton biryani for you. And of course, biryani can be made with mutton, with chicken, with eggs, and obviously vegetarian biryani as well. But the original dish, which came into India actually from Persia, was just called biryani. And biryani meant meat with rice. So today also, yesterday happened to be Eid in India. So this is my way of saying Eid Mubarak to all my friends out there who are celebrating it. So my special biryani for all of you. Now in terms of the ingredients and the quantities, don't worry about all of that. This is going to be at the end of the video, so do watch it till the end, and I will be mentioning some tips and tricks along the way. So once you follow these step by step, you will be able to make a very good biryani at home that's repeatable in flavor and delicious. This actually is always a request by Anu. So whether it's a birthday or an anniversary, the first thing she always asks me to make is biryani for her, which obviously I'm happy to oblige because I love it myself. So now that the onions are in there, they need to cook for at least 15 to 20 minutes. But before I get ready to take a pause over here, I'm going to give it a stir and also add in some ginger garlic paste and the juice of 1 lime. Okay? So now this needs to all cook together. The onions need to brown nicely. This is going to take about 15-20 minutes. It's a patient process, so don't try and cut this short. It's very, very important. So let's do that and we'll be back. Okay, so our onions have been going for about 20 minutes on a medium flame. On a high flame, they're going to burn. So you can see they're nice and brown. So at this stage, I'm going to add some tomatoes to it. Get that in there. And we're going to add also some mint. Now the mint is on the stem. Make sure you use the stems because they have a lot of flavor. So we'll drop about half in there now, and we're going to use half of it a little later. Okay, so give that a stir. Get all that together. And then I'm also going to add, this is a biryani mix that is homemade. But you can buy it store-bought. Shan makes a pretty good biryani mix. MTR makes a biryani mix. There's several brands. Everest, whatever your favorite brand is, you can use that. This one is homemade, so I'm going to drop my biryani mix in there as well. And stir all this together. This is already going to start smelling like biryani right now. And we want to incorporate that masala in there. So while this is going, I want to talk to you about the different biryanis that we have in India. It is a food with so much variety and so many different ways of making it. So if you broadly categorize them as North Indian and South Indian, Then in the north, you have, biryanis that are more delicate in flavor. In the south, they tend to be spicier. What I'm making here is a South Indian version, so it's going to be spicy. And even within South India, you have Ambur Biryani, Talpa Kati Biryani from Dindigul. Now, Talpa Kati Biryani is called as such because the person who invented or came up with that dish was wearing a turban. So turban is called Talpa Kati in Tamil. So that's why you have Talpa Kati. Then you have Ambur Biryani, you have the Shadika Biryani, which is traditionally made at weddings and Muslim weddings with a coal fire. You have Ambur Biryani, I think I mentioned that. You have Memani Biryani from Kerala. You have Bombay Biryani, which usually has potatoes in it. You have Avadi Biryani from Lucknow, which is again a fantastic biryani. Idris in Lucknow is a famous place for it. Ya Mohidin in Chennai has fantastic biryani. Lucky in Bombay also has very good Bombay style biryani. Apparently Salman Khan's favorite joint. So biryani is such a famous and well cooked dish around India. So many different ways of making it. You just can't go wrong as long as you get the basic flavor profile correct. So this is my version of biryani. I would say it's sort of a biryani from Tamil Nadu, except with a little bit of my addition. So this is now going well, and I'm going to stir this for a few minutes until my tomatoes are cooked. Okay, so the aromas of biryani are already filling my kitchen and I'm loving it. This mixture is ready to go. It's nice, and you can see, I'll just show you, it's nice and all mixed together. The tomatoes are cooked. So at this point, we're going to add our meat, and you add whatever meat you're going to add. So I'm adding mutton today to make it very traditional for Eid. So we add our meat in there. We also add the rest of our mint. I used half of it earlier. I'm going to toss in the next half of the mint in there. And this has to now pressure cook. We'll add some water to it, and then we're going to pressure cook it for about 4 or 5 whistles until the meat is well done. And I've not started my rice. You can see I have rice over here. I've not started it yet because I'm going to use some of the gravy in the sauce. That's a lot of flavor to cook my rice. So all the flavor will go to the entire biryani. So I've cooked this off for about 4 whistles, and you can see the meat is nice and done. And what I'm going to do is take some of that very flavorful liquid from here and put it in my first batch of rice. Notice I have 2 batches of rice over here, and I'll explain to you in a minute why I have that. So the first one is going to cook off with some of this, not all, just a little bit, and I'm going to get some of those oils in there as well. So now we're going to add also some water to this and turn on our heat. Just enough water for the rice to cook. So you can see the color in there already from the masalas. Now the other batch of rice, the reason I have 2 batches is I want some variation in color. Like you see the yellowness in the rice in the biryani and then the other brown part of it. This is how we do it. So we put most of the rice in with the masala, and then this is just saffron water. I'll drop some saffron water in this rice. We'll get a nice yellow coloring from it. You can already see that in there. You add salt to taste. And my rule of thumb is 1 spoon of salt per cup of rice. I have a total of 5 cups of rice over here. So I need to add adequate salt to ensure it's covered. And I forgot to mention this to you, but when I cooked the meat, I also added salt in there. So be careful with the salt. And then we're going to cover it and let it cook off until it's about 90% done. Okay, so our rice is done. You can see we have our masala rice here and the beautiful saffron rice as well. Our meat's done, so it's time to layer the biryani, and we're going to put it on dum in the oven. Now, a traditional dum is done on a coal fire. Since we don't want to do that for ease of cooking at home, what we're going to do is we're going to do it in the oven. You can do it on the gas top or in the oven. We're going to put 3 layers. We're going to add first this, then we add some meat on top of this, and then we're going to finish it off with the saffron rice. And you will notice throughout the video I had some boiled eggs in here. The boiled eggs add a lot of flavor to the biryani. I'm not going to add them in here, but we'll serve them on the side with the biryani, which will make it even better. Okay, that biryani is now nicely layered. We're going to put this in the oven. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with a foil. And here's the tip. Put the shiny side down always. That retains the moisture. So we cover it nicely. Perfect. And you want to make sure you press down the sides so none of the moisture escapes. So you don't want a dry biryani. There you go. That's looking good and ready to go in my oven. Now I have my oven here that's been preheated to 180 and that's not good. This goes in there for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes to make sure we get the nice dum going on the biryani, and then we're ready to serve it up. Okay, so our biryani is done. We put it in the oven for dum. Let's open it up. Oh, look at that. All that heat and flavor. So let me grab some and show you. That's how my biryani looks like, folks. And that's the best biryani that you can have. And I'm unashamedly saying that. But do try it out, try the recipe. I'm sure you'll like it. Subscribe, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Here's where the rubber meets the road. Time to do a taste test. Get the masala rice, regular rice, and saffron rice with some meat. It's so rich in flavors. It is amazing. You have to try this.